And they're off in the Coral Eclipse. And it was Paddington who won the break but does not press on, and it will be West Wind Blows who will now claim the lead and goes on in the hands of Jamie Spencer. West Wind Blows now by a length to Paddington, who's rated back in second. 2 lengths away, Emily Upjohn is in third, and Dubai Honour is at the back of the pack. He's racing at the moment about 4 lengths off the leader, who is West Wind Blows, as they race midway down the Sandown back straight. West Wind Blows and Jamie Spencer have the lead over Paddington and Ryan Moore in second position. The filly, Emily Upjohn and William Buick in third. Tom Marquand and Dubai Honour last of the classy quartet as they race now on inside the final 3/4 of a mile. And West Wind Blows has still got a lead of a length and a half over 3-year-old Paddington, who races in second position. Emily Upjohn, his shadow, in third, and at the back of the train is Dubai Honour as they go towards a halfway point in the 127th running of the Coral Eclipse, and West Wind Blows has a 2-length lead over Paddington, who races in second. He has a break of a length and a half over Emily Upjohn, who races in third, and then a further 2 lengths to Dubai Honour, still last of the 4, and now the field turns for home. 3.5 furlongs to go in the Coral Eclipse, and it's still West Wind Blows who has got the lead. The lead is a length and a half. West Wind Blows now being pushed along. Paddington has travelled well in second and now begins to close. Emily Upjohn now with 2 lengths to find on him in third. Dubai Honour still last, and they're racing now on towards the final 1/4 of a mile. West Wind Blows tries to hang tough, but Paddington sweeps on by, and Emily Upjohn now will come and join issue. A lead of a length for Paddington as they race now on towards the final furlong of the Coral Eclipse. It's Paddington, the 3-year-old, to the filly, Emily Upjohn. A private party now between those two. Paddington has got a lead of a neck. Emily Upjohn tries, but Paddington is too good. The 3-year-old wins. Paddington has won the Coral Eclipse. A record 7th win in the race for Aidan O'Brien. It was Paddington who beat Emily Upjohn in the 127th running of the Coral Eclipse.
They said it was going to be a duel, and a duel it was. A fabulous duel. These two engaged in battle for over a furlong out. Paddington always holding pole position. The filly, Emily Upjohn, trying to get upside him. Third for Ryan Moore. Second, Emily Upjohn for William Buick and the Gosdens. Third, West Wind Blows, and fourth, Dubai Honour. The early part was crucial.
Yeah, it was. Fabulous race, first of all, but as you said, yeah.
Wind Blows and fourth, Dubai Honour. The early part was crucial.
Yeah, it was. Fabulous race, first of all, but as you said, the early part was crucial. It wasn't quite as we expected because the rail was ignored and Spencer just leads them in single file, and everyone kind of had their chance in there. There was no boxing in, there was no lack of getting a run, and that just made it for a fair race, really. And they were able to see off the front runner West Wind Blows comfortably enough, the other two, and both get a clear shot at the race. And 2 high-class horses have run their race, delivered, and one is just a little bit better than the other on the day.
Yeah, it was a tremendous race. So in single file here, and as you say, in the centre of the track, Paddington bounced out of the gates, and then West Wind Blows just was worked up to lead, and this is how we go into the straight.
I think the way that Paddington bounced out ensured that West Wind Blows couldn't really dictate a very steady tempo because he had to first pass out Paddington, who broke well and just got into a nice rhythm, and Spencer then had to go on and give him a nice even lead. There was nobody fighting for their head. Horses were relaxed. They weren't going too quick, they weren't crawling, and it just made for a good even race, really. You can see Buick is looking to slipstream as long as he can on the back of Paddington, and he eventually pulls out with lots of time to spare, and she is very tough and game, but so is the winner, who keeps on finding, having travelled into it a little bit more smoothly than the eventual runner-up.
Yes, and this is where Emily Upjohn is trying to get upsides. They leave the other two behind. Dubai Honour just cannot land a blow. West Wind Blows weakens. And what are we seeing from the two of them in the closing stages? I mean, toughness from both of them.
Yeah, toughness from both of them, and plenty of stamina from the winner, who's up in trip because he's against a filly that stays 1.5 miles well, and she's having a go at him for a sustained period, and he keeps on holding, he keeps on finding. So he's up in trip for the first time on a stiff track, and he has seen it out strongly. in keeping with the damn side of his pedigree.
And what do you think William Buick is thinking now? Obviously he's disappointed, but sort of tactics-wise, what do you think he was thinking during the course of the race?
I think he's probably happy enough with how it went, and he had every chance. He may well look and the small margins and think what could have been done differently, but realistically, I think he gave his filly as good a chance as she could have. Really, he sat behind Paddington. He gave her a chance to go past him soon enough, and if she was good enough to get past, she could have done, and he could have trusted her stamina late on to maybe kick in, but the winner had enough to hold on. I think they'll just be accepting that they got beat by a better horse on the day.
Paddington's just got his head to the one side, isn't he? But he's finding so much under pressure, and to see off Emily Upjohn. And it's been such a fabulous season for Aidan O'Brien. He had his 85th Royal Ascot winner in total. A couple of weeks ago, he won his 100th European Classic when Auguste Rodin won the Irish Derby. He might yet have claims on the British Trainers title the way he's going this season. And this success will certainly help. It's a 7th success in the race for Aidan O'Brien. The 5th time he's won it with a 3-year-old. Giles Causeway, Hawkwing, Oratorio, St Mark's Basilica being the previous. And he was drawing similarities between St Mark's Basilica and this horse, and talking about the unusual progress that he'd made from Royal Ascot to here. That's why we see him at Sandown, and we might see him in the Sussex Stakes next. Yeah,
which should be fascinating to see him do that. I mean, that would be a very different test again, a fast mile that he'd be asked to go on at Goodwood on a very different track once again. So he's obviously not short of pace, but he's got plenty of stamina as well. I sort of see it as a surprising move to try it, but one that I can see why they would want to have a go with it, particularly from a commercial point of view further down the line.
Well, the International is also an option. We've received a quote for one of each. Unibet 2-1 favourite for the International, and Bet Victor even money for the Sussex Stakes. Aidan O'Brien hopefully will be able to tell us what is in his mind, but given the way the horse is thriving, it would be wonderful if we could see him quickly, albeit in very different circumstances, in the Sussex Stakes. It's a 3rd win in the race for Ryan Moore. It is a winning most 7th win in the race for Aidan O'Brien, so he's put himself one ahead of Alec Taylor Jr. and Sir Michael Stout. He has won the 2023 Coral Eclipse with Paddington, and it was a marvellous race that delivered in the way that we hoped and expected.
Certainly was, and he's had to do it differently, Lydia, absolutely spot on than what he achieved at Ascot, because he's had to roll the sleeves up this afternoon. But an impressive display, beating Emily Upjohn, who was second, 85-40. Paddington sent off the 8-11 favourite, the winner of the Coral Eclipse at Sandown Park.